Here we are.
Well, hi, everybody. I hope if you're scrolling through LinkedIn that you have just a few minutes to listen up. I have two amazing ladies with me. A lot of you already know my business BFF and real life BFF, Cindy Metzler. And then, of course, we are adding Kelly Merbler, who it was such a privilege to meet her at the event that we had down in South Florida. And we wanted to just spend some time today kind of unpacking the event. I know I put up a video last week highlighting, it was such a privilege to be on the Cystic Fibrosis Moms panel. I kind of highlighted that. But on my mind since then has been this one part of our show that was just heartwarming. And, Kelly had a big part in that. And, it also has to tie in with VIB as well. So I wanted to tell you guys the story of Crystal. And Cindy, do you want to go ahead and kind of share?
Sure. So I was so fortunate and blessed to meet Crystal, and she joined us at our event. So I'll tell you the backstory. So VIB is a tech company, and Sean Shea is the CEO. And Sean donated 10 laptops to the Homeless Coalition of Palm Beach County. And those 10 laptops are being used for 10-week programs. Every 10 weeks, they have new people that come in and they upskill them using Udemy and different platforms where people can learn. And Crystal actually took a 10-week program to learn how to be a professional photographer. She always wanted to be a photographer, and she's had some hiccups over the last few years. She's a mom. She has a 7-year-old. She was homeless for a little while. She went to the Homeless Coalition. They helped her out. And then Sean and his team at VIB, they've been mentoring a lot of the homeless people through the Homeless Coalition. And I wanted to give them a shout out because they're just doing amazing things in the community. And so VIB helps marketers find, engage, and convert prospects into customers. And they use proven marketing services to connect businesses to communities of millions of technology decision makers. And I just think they're doing incredible things. I mean, they give back in so many ways, but that's really what today is about, talking about how corporate companies, corporate entities, Kelly's business, Kelly herself and her company, the Kelly Merbler Company. I reached out to her and shared with her Crystal's story, and I hired Crystal for our event to take photographs at our event. So we were so lucky to have her there. And then we brought her up on stage. I gave Kelly a little bit of information about her because Kelly and I go back, and I know Kelly has an amazing community. She really has giving back in her DNA, everything about her. So I knew when I told her about Crystal's story that she would step up, and I'll let Kelly tell you about what she does and how she's going to be helping Crystal. And that's really what today is about, just showcasing businesses and how people can really differentiate by giving a hand and lifting each other and helping each other out.
Kelly, it's so nice to have you on. And, as Cindy was talking, it's one thing to talk about, oh, that's incredible. They're helping, people who are homeless. But when you actually put a name and a face, and then like at the event, a real live person behind that, it just changes everything, because you realize it's not just a number. It's not just a statistic. To hear her story, to talk to her, to see her excitement about this new opportunity, and to just have people that believe in her. It was so exciting and so heartwarming to experience. So Kelly, we are so happy about your part in this. It was the cutest interaction as Kelly reached out to Crystal, and we were joking about this is like the final rose. They had roses to give her, and Kelly was like, I want to be able to mentor you. Will you accept my rose? I mean, it was just the sweetest interaction. But Kelly, tell us more about your heart and, for wanting to help and bring up women to reach their full potential.
No, thank you both. And you both are just amazing women that set the example of supporting other women. So when Cindy called a few weeks ago and said, Kelly, I want to tell you about this. Anytime Cindy calls, I'm like, it's something meaningful, because Cindy always does things that are really good. And Joy, getting to meet you for the first time, like your story is incredible and inspires so much of us. But I knew when Cindy called and she said, a little bit about Crystal, but I didn't know much. I didn't know the story or the backstory, but I knew immediately that I wanted to be involved. And for me, one of my core values is giving back. And it's something that I don't just say it, like it's really a part of who I am. And I really believe that everybody has struggles. I mean, all of us. And we never know when we might be in a situation where we need help. And somebody that's homeless, like that could happen to any of us. You just never know. And when I heard the story of Crystal and how she really wanted to use her passion to be a photographer and just use the gift that she has to help create photography for events and just for different ways of using that gift, I said, I would love to help her if there's any way I can help her as far as being a mentor for her as an entrepreneur and building her business, or just being someone there as a woman that has a business to be a support system for her. And I immediately just, yes, I want to be involved. And just being there at that event, you're right. You just never know. But when you have a face in front of you and you hear the hardship and when her little girl is involved and the challenges that she's gone through, I mean, that's what humanity is about. It is about helping each other when times are tough. And life was never meant to be done alone. And when we can come alongside of each other instead of tolerating each other, then that's the beauty of what we can all do together. So there's no reason I can't help. There's no reason all of us can't do one little thing for something or for someone that needs us.
I love that. I love that, Kelly. Thank you. And I think that's one of the reasons that Joy and I put these sisterhood events together. And we're just so happy to showcase women like you, Kelly, who are doing so many meaningful things. I mean, and tell us a little bit more about the Kelly Merbler company and what you do and the community that you've built. Because like Joy has an incredible community on LinkedIn. You do as well, Kelly. It's really amazing. I know you started your Coffee with Kelly virtually, I think when COVID started, and you've built this incredible community and people really lean on you and count on you for so many different things. So maybe you can tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, no, thank you for asking. And yeah, about just over 5 years ago, I left my corporate world and my corporate role to follow what I was passionate about. And I started the Kelly Merbler company. And what I'm passionate about is helping people. And I love helping women discover their strengths that they have within. So a lot of the work that I do is inside organizations, and I help leaders and I help teams and I help with a lot of women in development trying to get to that next level in their leadership or to the C-suite. I help them identify what are their true natural strengths and how can they use that in their career development to create the path to get them where they want to go in their life or in the business that they're working within. And I do that because it was the game changer that truly was the aha moment for me in the work that I was doing in corporate America. I always wondered, why all of a sudden did I not truly get excited about going to work on a Monday when for many years I loved what I did, but it started to shift and it really taps into employee engagement. And I just wasn't engaged in the work that I was doing because I wasn't using the strengths that God gave me. And when I finally discovered what those true strengths are within me by working with a coach in my own development, it was clarity for me at that moment. And I went all in to really understand who I was, how can I connect that with my purpose, and how can I use what I've learned to create a job and a life around who I authentically am. I mean, we all want to be our authentic selves, and what better way to live than to show up every day in the work that we do and use the gifts that we have to build a business or to build a company or to lead teams, whatever it is that we're doing. And so learning that about myself was such an aha moment for me. It's what set that spark for me where I wanted to give and bring this to other leaders and teams and organizations, and especially women, because we all know that there's so many women out there that are trying to find their voice, and they're trying to figure out how do they use that voice. And when I found my strengths, I found my voice. And if I can help other women understand who they are and how to use that in the work that they're paid to do or want to create, that's a gift. And so that's what I'm going to be doing with Crystal. Is we're going to do a coaching session where I'll help identify, I use Clifton Strengths. I'll use the Clifton Strengths assessment, and we'll identify what are her most dominant talents. What does she have within her that may have it's already been there, but a lot of times we don't recognize it ourselves and we don't know what to do with it. And so what I'm going to do as part of mentoring her is helping her identify what are those strengths, how do you understand them more, and then how can she use them in building her business or creating, the job that she's looking to create, so she can be who she authentically is, but feel most fulfilled and connected with purpose when she's doing that work. So that's where we're going to get started. And for me, that just lights my fire up.
I love it.
It's so, and it was neat to hear her on stage too. We'll have to get the clip, Cindy, and post it at some point too. But she's sharing how her whole life, she dreamed of having a camera, she dreamed of doing photography, and she just never had the opportunity for someone, to get that and to step into that. And so it was just so neat to see how excited she is now to have this opportunity to pursue her passion and her dream. So it's really special.
Yeah. And I have to give a shout out also. I'm going to ask Jim to our podcast producer behind us here, give Jim a shout out. If he could share some of the photos from the event. But I'm going, this is the best. I love it. So just to even go back further, it was actually Heather Monahan, who was one of our TEDx speakers. And I met Heather through LinkedIn. And then I went to one of her book signings, her first book signing in Miami, and we became friends. And it was actually Heather who introduced me to Sean. And she said, this man is doing such incredible work, giving back. His company is giving back. They're mentoring people at the Homeless Coalition. They also donate to the Bucket Ministry, among a lot of other different charities. And so she's the one that connected me. And then when I learned more about the Homeless Coalition and what they're doing, I've actually brought my kids there, my husband, to, help with Sean's team serving the homeless. And I think it's just an incredible organization. And now more than ever, I think it's an organization that, like Kelly said, anyone can be in that situation, right? Anyone, one thing happens and all of a sudden it's a job loss or a health issue or something like that. And that's unfortunately what happened to Crystal. And again, she has a 7-year-old little girl. So how could we as women that could make a difference, turn a blind eye to that? So immediately we thought, this is a great opportunity to help now that she has her photography business. And so we hired her for the events and put Kelly and Crystal together. We actually have another photo of another Kelly Boyle, who we have to give a shout out. Yeah. She's going to be doing some financial coaching with Crystal, because as I think most women, I know myself, I told Kelly that I could use some financial coaching too. I feel like it's something we could all use a little, help with. And, the other thing I just wanted to mention with Sean and VIB, not only do they give back, but they actually put a lot of power women in leadership roles at their organization. So I wanted Jim to share just a recent article about Mariah, who's their VP of marketing. It's a great article. If anyone has an opportunity, it's in Authority Magazine, Thriving as a Woman in a Male-Dominated Industry. And Mariah, again, is a powerhouse, and she's heading up the marketing for VIB. And I just, again, like to give women a shout out. Like, we have to lift each other up and help each other, and, just showcase the value and how we're stronger together, right? So I'll toss it over to you again, Joy, but I just feel like that's a really important message.
No, absolutely. And going back to what you said, hearing Crystal's situation, that could happen to anyone. And, it's been a while since I shared my whole story, but I remember back when I went through my divorce and I had 3 little kids and I lost everything. I mean, I was down to my last, couple $100 in the bank, and I was so close to being homeless. I mean, it just takes one life situation that you're not expecting. And, that I always go back to that because it's such a reminder to me that only by God's grace and only by somebody believing me and, and giving me an opportunity to start all over in a new business was I able to come, out of that. And it was literally to the last hour that opportunity opened up for me. So, don't ever look at anybody and judge and think, oh, how did they get there? It must be their fault. They must have done something. And, so what? Even if they did make some poor decisions, like there's so much grace that needs to be extended to everybody, because when you are at your lowest is when you can come back and learn, and out of humility, you can, gain the greatest strength to go on to lead and then to give to others. Like we're seeing Kelly being willing to mentor Crystal. So never judge. I think that's a big pet peeve of mine is, you could be on, flat on your feet in a second. It only takes, one incident.
It's true. Yeah. The other, I was going to say, if we can mention too, because if you notice from the pictures, is Crystal was dressed so nicely and didn't dress for success, provided her outfit, didn't they?
So it's so funny because Kelly and I are both huge fans of Dress for Success. Kelly does a lot for them. Years ago, I reached out to them. I told them about Crystal. They literally got her in within days.
Amazing.
Gave her a week's worth of beautiful clothing, and she came in that gorgeous dress and strutting her stuff, and we just taking photos, and she was just in an incredible frame of mind and shared her story. And that's the other beautiful thing about Crystal. And by the way, what you were just saying, Joy, too, and Kelly, I know you have shared struggles. That's the human condition, right? That's the common thread. We all have struggles. We've all had adversity in our lives. And the beautiful thing about Crystal is that she's not ashamed of it, and she's willing to share it, because there's so many people that need to hear that story, and how she came out on the other side, and how she's going to be a better person because of that journey. And I feel like, at Joy, I know you've shared things with me, personal things. I know you've been through a divorce. You have a beautiful family and a beautiful husband. Those are things that I feel like people can relate to and understand. And when they see someone who has a beautiful family and has been through it, it's a great opportunity to say, wow, you know what, that inspires me. I'm going through something like that. And it helps you have a little more strength to get through the day, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we're excited. Cindy, do you want to share any, things coming up for sisterhood or things we can be looking forward to?
Yeah, so a couple of really exciting things. And this week, I'm waiting for, I'm co-organizer of TEDx Boca Raton. So I'm waiting for TED to approve a press release that we're going to get out about the speaker announcements. But actually, Sean had submitted to be one of our TEDx speakers. So he's going to be one of our TEDx speakers on May 20th. I know, Joy, we've been trying to get you on that TEDx stage for years. And you submitted years ago. And then I know with all of your travel, you just haven't been able to, the stars didn't align. And this year the stars did align. I know we're going to get Kelly up on that stage one of these days soon. But that's coming. And then honestly, we are planning something like a women's brunch the day after TEDx on Sunday, the 21st. So we're in the midst of working on that right now. So just put a little teaser out. And then this summer, we are going to be hosting our first we've hosted Little Women's Retreat for like 6 to 12 people, but we're going to open it up because I just know how powerful that is. Like Joy and I have been on business trips together and done retreats together. And obviously we would love for Kelly to be part of it too, because I just know being at some of her events and being in her virtual events with her community, the love and the power that's in the room from your experience and your journey, Kelly, really just, makes people light up, like you said. So yeah, so those are a couple of things coming up. May 20th, the TEDx is going to be at the Booker Innovation Campus. People fly in for this event. We'll be announcing officially the speakers probably later this week. So keep your eyes peeled on the website, TEDxBocaRaton.com. And then we'll keep you posted about a few of the women that are going to be on the TED stage are incredible, like really, really incredible stories. And so we're going to be doing some special things with them as well. So stay tuned.
And I think, Cindy, we'll probably do a live or two just about the TEDx journey, since you are an organizer, you are a trainer, as well. Mm-hmm. And I think people seeing my journey as it gets, closer and closer is something they can aspire and, hopefully look forward to working toward doing it themselves one day.
Yeah. And the beautiful thing is, again, going back to Heather, her second book, she actually wrote about her TEDx journey, Overcoming Your Villains, and she wrote about her TEDx journey in chapter 4. And she talks about the entire TEDx experience and how, it's not easy. I know she shares that she actually, submitted to over 100 TEDx events before she was selected. And here that's an influencer who is a keynote speaker. So it's not easy to get on the TEDx stage. And I know maybe Kelly, you could speak to this too, just about inspiration. I know it kind of, to me, it relates a lot to looking for a job. It's like, just because you're not getting selected does not mean that you're not worthy. Like, we get so many submissions and they're amazing, but there's only certain spots, right? And same thing when you're looking for a job. I feel like there's a lot of people out there right now looking for their new move or their new career, and it's discouraging. So, I think it's just keep going is the key.
It's so true. It does relate to the job process too. And that's one thing, in our Coffee with Kelly community, it's a lot of people that are in transition, and, whether it's they're having struggles or they're in the middle of interviewing for jobs or they've lost their job or what health issues, whatever it is. And that's the key. But the important piece is we all have each other, but we have to lean into each other during those times, because if we try to continue to do things alone and get frustrated and then angry at the situation, it's harder. I think that really makes it harder in the journey. But whatever it is, if it's a TEDx talk or the job search, whatever you're doing, that's where people, being around you to support you, that really want to see you succeed in the good times and the bad times, that's what makes the journey easier to get through, I think.
Absolutely, because you're always going to be surrounded by people who have limiting beliefs that they push on you, whether it's because they're afraid of you and they care for you and they're just doing it out of their own limitations. But those things stick with you, and those things can help feel so rejected and so beat up and so pushed down. And it's so important that you surround yourself with a baseline of people that they have been there, they have done that, they are doing more, achieving more than you, because when you look at them and you aspire to be like that, you realize, the sky's the limit, but you just need to make sure you surround yourself with people like that.
Yeah. And there are women, obviously, I think everyone here probably has, and probably everyone listening to has had someone in their circle that hasn't been supportive, whether it's a man or a woman. But I think women, especially, we've had, women, whether it's a boss or a colleague or something, that has sometimes made our life more challenging. That's why I think this community and just coming together with really incredible women who are supporting each other is something that I'm obviously a big believer in. And that's why, I really am passionate about putting on events for this sisterhood and this retreat, and just giving people a platform to share their stories and really connect with other incredible women. And yes, it's business oriented, but it's not just business oriented. It really is about, overcoming those obstacles and those struggles that are not necessarily always business oriented. It could be health oriented. It could be something as a woman that you're going through. So just very happy to to have our events coming up in our retreat, and excited about having you guys participate and be part of it.
Yeah. Before we close, I just mentioned too, one of the things I loved about the event, just the diversity of the passion, and professions of the women that were there. It was so incredible to, have the women in tech, they're a whole other level. And then, the moms that had been through a lot with the cystic fibrosis and all their lessons, right? And then I got up there and spoke on fitness and pushing and moving your body. So it was like all these different passions when they come together, you get the best of all these worlds. And it's so important as a whole person to diversify and to surround yourself with people that have different interests, different strengths, because that's what it's all about. That's how you become the best version of you, for sure.
And inviting men too to the platform. I mean, it was great having Mark Noodleberg speak at the events. I mean, his message was really meaningful. And again, having men like Sean in leadership roles that are lifting up women and helping open doors. It's just, it is an opportunity, because we all need to work together to help each other. So yeah, exciting stuff.
And thank you, Cindy. Cindy puts on beautiful events. So if it's an event that Cindy with, it's not going to disappoint. That's for sure.
That is
so amazing job.
Thank you. Well, I think we're at the hour now. So thank you both for coming together. Thank you everyone for listening. I'm so happy to share this message. And Crystal, and I think Kelly and I are going to help Crystal get on LinkedIn, right? We have to get her out on LinkedIn and start marketing her wares on LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's right. Because I mean, I know there's a lot of events down here that maybe she could help with photography, and giving her a door to get into that she may never have gotten into unless we get her out there. So that's what it's about. And I'll say this to end as well from my point is, someone once told me, and I don't remember who exactly it was, but sometimes your mess is your message. And we all have a mess in life that we're going through, but that story that we have that's evolving within us may seem really tough when we're in the midst of it and we can't see the other side. But what Crystal is learning through this as an example is that, she's not alone. She has people there that are there to support her, and she's got a story to tell. And some other woman is going through that same exact story right now. And what Crystal is doing and what you are all doing, that is going to inspire that next woman that says, wow, I don't think I can move forward, and I don't even know how I can make another day. But Crystal can be the inspiration for how she did it, and she got back up and moved forward. And so I can't wait till we can celebrate her,
Oh, I totally agree. Yes. And next time we'll invite her. So we'll have a part 2 to this conversation. I'm sure we'll have lots of parts to this conversation. So thank you all for coming and watching. And you guys are amazing, because I know we decided to do this very last minute. So I'm excited that it was able to come together and just share the message, and give everyone a shout out, especially you, Kelly, for jumping in at the last minute and helping, just a few weeks notice and coming to the rescue. Yeah, it was just, yes, beautiful. Thank you. And again, shout out to Sean and Mariah at VIB, and you, Joy, too. I mean, your presentation was amazing, and excited about TEDx.
Yay!
Yeah.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Exit.